Hi, welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, July 26th of 2024. I'm Giovanni Benacourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets, and this is being recorded previous to the U.S. session open. All right, well, let's get to it. Now, investors are confused about whether it's time to get out of technology stocks. If yesterday's trading is anything to go by, the market went lower, then higher, and then came back lower. Over the past week, though, the Nasdaq has declined almost 5%. That's either an indication of things to come or a buying opportunity, depending on your view on tech. It is true, valuations look stretched and other investments look a lot more attractive if interest rates start to come down soon. Nvidia, for example, may be a good company, but its stock has so much euphoria back in that it's hard to justify buying more. If the optimism about artificial intelligence is justified, there's still a risk that companies could overinvest in it or never find a way to make as much money from it as hoped. Google parent Alphabet is a case in point. Its earnings were great, but investors were disappointed about how much is being spent on developing AI. OpenAI's new ChatGPT-based internet search program, a potential threat to Google search dominance. Doesn't help either. On the other hand, what makes tech companies great is their capacity for growth. The prototype for a tech firm is software. Once you've got a product that people want, there's practically no obstacle to scaling it by basically making and selling more of it. While valuations may be stretched, they're still nowhere close to dot-com bubble era levels. And even if tech companies make mistakes like Meta Platforms did by over investing in the metaverse, they've shown an uncanny ability to bounce back. So maybe it's time to get out of tech. But if it is, there will soon be a time to get back in. So with that being said, let's take a look at what we saw yesterday's market fluctuation. So the market did peak ahead below the 19,000 psychological support level, but it did close right below it at 18,993. Okay, but today we're seeing that the market is rallying back. Let's just lower for now our level of support. So it's rallying back. So it's bouncing back. It's doing a counter trend reversal. So let's see if this momentum will take us up to yesterday's resistance of 19,400. That's in the Nasdaq. In the S&P 500, the same token goes. It didn't reach our level of support of 5,400, so we're gonna leave that there, sitting there. Let me just turn off this moving average, 50-day moving average. So basically, the obviously also the S&P is rebounding from this also sell-off that we've been seeing lately. So perhaps today will be one of those green days for the indices as well as for the Dow. Let's just erase this line here. So again, also bouncing off the medium of the Bollinger's band. So that's a good indication. Let's see. Also, the Russell has made a nice move to the upside. So let's just use that high created on July 17th as our level of resistance and 2200 as support for the Russell. So all four of them are in tandem, are in line to the upside. So let's go with that momentum. All right, so yesterday, crude oil dipped below 76, but it quickly retreated and recuperated. So that momentum to the upside, $79 is going to be the resistance. But today we're seeing some little pullback on that. It could be profit taken. So let's just use the low of yesterday's wick as a level of support, which is basically $76, round number. So what could we expecting for crude oil today? Being long, being short, I will stay out of it. It's been volatile. So Nat Gas, I'm still looking for Nat Gas to hit our level of support. So that's our target, selling Nat Gas. Let's see, gold losing its shine. Yesterday had a very down day. It did also it opened with a gap down, but it's being closed. And since we have already violated our level of support, let's just bring it down a bit to 2350. Okay, and let's leave that resistance at 2400 being psychological. So perhaps going long today after having so many days in red. Okay, silver also opened up with a small gap down. So our inclination will be going with the trend, so selling it. Copper, yesterday, it did basically a rebalancing of itself out after so many days in red. So can we be counter trend right now and to the upside? It could be a good bet for 20 as our target. Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin yesterday did fluctuate to the downside. It recuperated itself. Now we're above 66,000. Let's see if 68,000 will be met. The euro is looking to recover itself nicely. Nicely done. So move to the upside. Pound is just right at the borderline. So let's just lower that and let's use this right here. Okay, so we have the pound moving higher and the dollar index seems to be entering a level of equal highs, equal lows. So consolidation for the dollar index, and let's see what will happen. All right, it is Friday, so keep that in mind. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday.